Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of me playing Race the Sun. After some very strange technical issues, I feel like I have gotten this worked out for the most part. Can I edit scene? Not gonna let me? Oh, there we go. Yeah, this should definitely be up this way more, and then this should be stretched down to here. Because for some reason game capture on OBS never seems to actually align things as it should. So as I've mentioned in some other videos, I wanted to show off a little bit more of this game in terms of two main things, which are the player worlds, which we'll get to shortly, and the warp portals, which we should be able to show off in this episode here. If this video gets really laggy, I apologize. My laptop is kind of tweaking out right now, even when this game or anything isn't running, so I know that it's not the recording process that's doing it, but for some reason it is not exactly cooperating with me right now. Just recorded Spelunky just fine, so I don't know what is going on that's causing this hold up on it, but it's everything about the system just not rolling out well. And we'll just kind of glide over most of this. So now, of course, our goal here is going to be to get the highest score we can. But my overarching goal is to show off what happens when you go through one of the warp portals, which we unlocked as a power-up in the last time I played this. 4, 5. That should be an achievement. I just did 5 barrel rolls in a run. So when the warp portals show up, you can see them pretty easily. They are kind of arcs with a bright color in the middle. We're getting like nothing over here. This is obviously the worst spot to be. Okay, still no tries, no anything. So let's get a little bit closer over this way. Of course, the hard thing about looking to show off something in particular in this game is the fact that the maps are randomized each day. So since I haven't played it, since I'm not playing the same map that I was playing that day, it'll be a bit harder for me to make sure that I can reach one of these warp zones, which are really cool, change the aesthetic a lot, and change the gameplay quite a bit too as well, honestly. We're doing quite well so far in terms of the actual run, although we haven't been getting a whole lot. There's a blimp. You don't want to hit the blimp. We'll explode. And the blimp might go all Hindenburg. Oh! Ouch. Oh, do a barrel roll 20 times in one run. I thought it was 5 times. Okay, so let's try this again. We will jump back in here. I also want to point out that if there are any frame issues, 'cause it looks like I'm dropping a little bit in terms of FPS, it's not from the game, just to be clear. Something is working on my laptop and I can't figure out what it is, and it is kind of causing my computer to slow down in general. So the game is obviously suffering from that, as is the recording, but it looks like I'm pretty steadily holding at least a decent FPS, hopefully. We'll see what happens, obviously, but I'm really hoping that this isn't turning out to be a horrible quality video, because that would be very disappointing. I really need to figure out what's going on that's causing my laptop to slow down so much. I think a restart is in order after I finish recording this video. Oh god. I am going very fast. Could have picked up a second jump if I had the double jump power up on. There we go. We can collect all these easily. Oh god. Get the boost. Pick up the tries that this guy drops. It's funny to be playing a game like this after spending most of my day trying to figure out why my car was making weird noises. Turned out that I was almost out of power steering fluid. Obviously not something that you want to be almost out of at any given point while you're driving a car. So that was my day, was figuring that out and then getting a replacement. I kind of wish I didn't get the boost there. That's going to make it much harder. Oh god. It is not being easy to show off these portal worlds. So, let us start here again. You know, while we're at it, I'm going to go for the achievement to only make right turns on a whole region. We'll try to get through region 1 without doing anything but pressing right. Clipped the wall once already. Oh, I hit left. Well, that ruined that plan. Oh god. Now I'm just being horrible, because my plan was ruined by the fact that I'm so instinctually hitting left that I couldn't help myself. I kind of feel like I don't want to be in that little center area come time for the second area if we are hoping to end up seeing the warp worlds. That really sucked. So I will probably try to get over to the left a bit more, since we were on the right the first run. There's a boost, and we will go to the left a bit. Hopefully we can run into something interesting here. Or not so much something interesting as what I'm looking for, I guess would be a better way to put it. Whee! Seems like all of these second region things are just kind of these onward corridors. Except for the areas before where I was out of the corridor and getting nothing. I shouldn't have picked up that boost. It makes it really hard to get through these areas. No! God! I can do better than this, I swear! Okay, let's focus here. Let's focus, and we're gonna do well, and we're gonna show off one of the warp worlds. And everyone is gonna be happy, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, this changes the aesthetic of the game so much. And I'm gonna be like, I know, right? That's what I told you! And that'll happen. It will. I promise. Not sure when, but it will happen. I didn't really mean to jump there. That was kind of a waste of a jump. In fact, that jump was kind of a negative as a whole. But, okay. My bad. Sometimes I hit space when I don't mean to. It happens. We got another jump anyway. Oh! This is what happens when you haven't played this game in a while. I've been so distracted with things like Volgar and Spelunky and other new games that are in the process of coming out that I have not played nearly as much of this game as I really should have, because this is a phenomenal game. And we are going to wrap around this pole, get the jump, and should have gone left, get that. Guys, I'm bad at video games. I apologize. I tried to keep it a secret as long as I could, but it's being revealed here. So, we are going to slide this way. That was really close. I probably shouldn't have taken my focus off the game. This is not the kind of game where not focusing on it works out very well for you, usually. Usually that means you're gonna die. Through here. We got like little figure eights we gotta do. Get that. Now we're in this position of having the boost and being in this area at the same time, which is quite difficult. Oh god, again. Pick up that jump as we make this jump. Land in time to pick up this stuff. I'm curious if there are any warps in this second region. Because I feel like we've been through multiple possibilities of things that we could look for them at, and haven't found any yet. I'm just kind of cruising down the middle here right now looking for anything, which is missing me out on a lot of points, but also possibly finding them for me. Well, let's get back underway here. We want to get at least some points. The warp zones really do help your score. Oh god, why? Jump. they do help your score because they tend to have a lot of tries. Oh god! No! Stop giving me boosts right before this, you dick! Oh, dear lord. There we go. And we get another boost. I was kind of hoping for a jump there, honestly. There's a purple thing. I'm not entirely sure what that was, actually. There's a jump there. Oh god. Okay, so now we are looking for... Oh god. Dear lord, Region 3. Okay, well real quick, since I'm not doing that great at that, I want to jump into Player Worlds. And we are going to go to... Ooh, actually... This is kind of along the lines of what you're looking at in the warp zones. It is actually a level that you can jump into on its own in the player worlds. But this is about the aesthetic of the warp zone that I've been to. I don't know if there are more than one warps. Like I don't know if the warps take you to different player worlds. It's very possible. I'm not entirely sure the mechanics of them. But this is the one that I've been to, which is the Void Zone, which is a real cool level. It tends to... Whoop. It tends to be a pretty relaxing experience, all things considered. And I really love the aesthetic of it. The switch from a lot of white with very little dark colors for shadows to a lot of dark for space with the white for the blocks really makes a very vivid difference in terms of the look of the game. Whee! I think this is normally when you would transition back into, yes, back into the other world when you use it, when you get it as a warp world. But obviously when you're playing through this world on its own, it is just blank space for a while. So as you can see, this is also a little bit easier because in this one, we don't have a sun at the end. So we don't really have a chance of our power reaching zero because there's no sun to begin with that can go down and lose power. So this is pretty much as long as it takes you to go without running into anything. So that's one of the big pluses when you are playing this in the regular mode and you get a warp world and get a level like this, is that it gives you some time to just get points without worrying about the sky. So now to show off another example of a player world, in terms of highest rated here, let me wait while it refreshes the list. Hopefully my internet hasn't gone down suddenly, because that would be pretty horrible. I will let you know if there is any sign in that. What's in my worlds? Is that one that I've made? Ooh, this is one that I've played before. Apocalypse. So, this is a very different... blah blah. I can't play from here? Damn it. I'll just go here then. Okay, so this is Apocalypse, where you see we have a big infusion of color down in terms of... Let's start that again, why don't we? Where we have a big infusion of color in the sky in terms of it is obviously orange. Wow. I do not want to be in that center segment. I am sorry, but I am not going to try to master that. I am instead going to swing my way out here. But yeah, obviously the sky is very colorful in this version, and you get a lot of falling meteors, which you can see if I stop crashing, because this is a very intense world, especially for the very beginning. It doesn't start off slow like the main game does. So yeah, these user worlds and the warp worlds, which may or may not take you to the user worlds, are, god damn it, are definitely a huge infusion of variety into the game. the main thing that I could see people complaining with, just based on my first video alone, would be the fact that, you know, as much as this is a really hard world, and we're gonna switch to something else for now. But as much as people have, I mean, as much as the map changes day in and day out, I could see a lot of people looking at my first video and asking, you know, well, the world changes quite a bit in terms of layout, but the design itself is still the same. Though user worlds and the warp worlds do a long way toward mixing that aesthetic up. As you can see, everyone that we've seen so far has been vastly different in look, vastly different in terms of pace and difficulty. So these type of things infuse a lot into the game in terms of, even if you get bored of the main mode's aesthetic, which I don't see happening because I think it is a lovely aesthetic, if you do end up getting bored of it, there are all these different user levels that are going to have different aesthetics, different looks to them, different skylines, different building colors, and it really, although it doesn't change too much in terms of necessarily the building types and such that you come across, it infuses an entire different feel into the game when you're seeing these colorful levels instead of the simple grayscale ones that the game begins with. It's a very nice touch that the user worlds are able to have such differences in them over the main game that I think really solves what is probably the only major complaint I could see. At least the only major complaint that holds ground, except outside of, you know, the inevitable people who would complain about how it's not a very fun type of game, who just don't like this style of game. But you know, there are things here and there that are minor, that you could try to critique or whatever. But I think in general, this game is well enough put together where there's not much major to complain about, except for the lack of variety and aesthetic, which I could see some people being bothered by. But in terms of these other worlds, as much as it's a very similar feel, you can tell it's the same game, it is also very much a completely different aesthetic, a completely different look to it, that absolutely revitalizes the game if you're having that kind of problem with it. And obviously by way of the different user design levels, there is a chance to design things for different kinds of obstacles you don't normally run into, like these giant red obelisk thingies that seem to be adjusting the light around them, despite not being solid themselves. So it definitely opens the door for a ton of possibilities, and I personally can't wait to see more and more of these type of levels come up as the community around this game grows bigger and bigger. As it stands, it is moving up the Greenlight rankings. If you recall, I did mention that it had a Greenlight campaign. It is moving up the Greenlight rankings. It is, I believe, within the top 40, or I believe it's within the top 50 now, as of today. And it is definitely still looking for votes. If you are at all interested in what you see, I highly encourage you to head over to the Greenlight page, which I will once again link in this video description, and toss it a vote. It very much deserves it. Even if it's not your type of game, it is a very well made game, and that deserves appreciation regardless of whether you particularly like the game or not. I know a lot of people out there who don't necessarily feel that way, but I also know a lot of people who realize that games deserve appreciation, whether it's something that you feel like you would play or not. That's what Greenlight is for. It's not for, do I want to play this game? It's, do I think this game is a good idea, whether it's my type or not. So I do highly encourage everyone to go out and vote for this game on Greenlight. Thank you all for stopping by again. I hope you enjoyed this second look at the game. I hope it was decent, despite the fact that I know the FPS was dropping a bit. Hopefully that will be worked out by the time I record my next video. In the meantime, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Later.